The wind howled across the Arctic tundra as Kira Winters guided her rescue helicopter through the blizzard. 20 years of search and rescue operations had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now every nerve in her body screamed that something was wrong. The aurora borealis above had taken on an unusual purple tinge, and her instruments were going haywire. "Base, this is Winter Wolf. I'm picking up some strange readings about 40 clicks north of observation post 7. Request permission to investigate." Static crackled through her headset before a response came. "Negative, Winter Wolf. Weather's getting worse. Return to base immediately." Kira's jaw tightened as she watched her compass spin wildly. "Base, something's not right up here. I'm seeing." She trailed off as a flash of blue light pierced through the snowstorm. "Base, possible distress signal sighted. Going to check it out." She banked the helicopter toward the light, ignoring the protests crackling through her headset. The glow intensified as she approached, taking on an otherworldly quality that made her skin prickle. Through the swirling snow, she could make out what looked like a crash site, but unlike anything she'd ever seen before. The object was sleek and crystalline, partially buried in the snow. It had the general shape of a vessel but seemed to be composed of translucent material that pulsed with internal light. Sections of it were shattered, spreading a field of glowing shards across the white landscape. Kira set the helicopter down at a safe distance and grabbed her emergency kit. The moment she stepped outside, the cold hit her like a physical force, but something else hit her too, a humming sensation that seemed to vibrate through her bones. As she approached the crash site, she saw movement. A figure lay half buried in the snow, and it definitely wasn't human. The being's skin was opalescent, with delicate patterns of light flowing beneath its surface like luminescent blood. Long, silver-white hair fanned out across the snow, and elegant features that seemed almost carved from crystal marked it as decidedly feminine, despite its alien nature. The creature's eyes flickered open as Kira approached. They were completely silver, with no pupils or irises, yet somehow conveyed both pain and fear. "Please," it whispered in perfect English, though its lips barely moved. "They must not find me." Kira dropped to her knees beside the alien, medical training kicking in despite the unprecedented situation. "Who's they? Who are you?" "I am Nyara, first daughter of the crystalline throne." The alien's voice grew weaker. "My sister, she has turned the guard against me. The Empire cannot fall to her darkness." Kira began checking for injuries, finding what appeared to be wounds that leaked light rather than blood. "Save your strength. I'm going to get you out of here." "You don't understand," Nyara grabbed Kira's wrist with surprising strength. "If they track me here, your world will burn. I should not have come, but I had nowhere else to go." The wind picked up, and Kira's instruments began screaming in her pocket. Above them, the aurora flared with impossible colors. "Well, you're here now," Kira said firmly, "and I'm not leaving you to die in the snow. Can you move?" Nyara attempted to rise but collapsed back with a cry of pain. Her glow dimmed noticeably. "My core is damaged. I cannot regulate my energy properly in this environment." Kira made a quick decision and activated her locator beacon. "Base, this is Winter Wolf. I've found a survivor. Situation is..." She looked at the alien woman bleeding light into the snow. "Complicated. Requesting immediate medical evacuation and containment protocol." "Beacon received, Winter Wolf. But containment? What exactly did you find out there?" "Something that's going to change everything," Kira replied, wrapping her emergency blanket around Nyara's shoulders. "And we better be ready for what follows." The alien princess's eyes met hers, silver depths filled with both gratitude and warning. "Your kindness may doom your world, Kira Winters." "Maybe," Kira acknowledged, helping Nyara toward the helicopter as the storm intensified around them. "Or maybe it's exactly what both our worlds need right now. Behind them, the crashed vessel's glow began to fade, but high above, the aurora pulsed with increasing intensity. Somewhere beyond Earth's atmosphere, Kira knew, others would be coming. The real question was whether they would come as friends or enemies, and whether Earth was ready for either possibility. What Kira didn't know yet was that her decision to help Nyara would spark a chain of events that would reshape not just Earth's future, but the destiny of an entire alien empire. As she secured her mysterious passenger in the helicopter, the first pieces of that cosmic puzzle were already falling into place, carried on the Arctic wind like crystals of ice and light. The secret medical facility buried beneath Alaska's permafrost hummed with activity. 3 days had passed since Kira brought in her extraordinary rescue, and she still couldn't believe the changes it had brought to her life. The simple rescue pilot now found herself designated as Nyara's primary liaison, if only because the alien princess refused to communicate with anyone else. Through the observation window, Kira watched as Nyara floated in a specially designed containment chamber filled with a luminescent liquid that matched her own biological glow. The military scientists had quickly discovered that Earth's atmosphere interfered with what Nyara called her core resonance, but this synthetic solution helped stabilize her. Her cellular regeneration rate is unprecedented, Dr. Marcus Hayes, the lead xenobiologist, muttered beside Kira while reviewing his tablets. The crystalline structures in her DNA, if we can even call it DNA, they're unlike anything we've ever theorized possible. She's not just alien, she's practically a new form of life. Kira nodded absently, more focused on the way Nyara's expression tightened with each scan and test. The princess might be cooperating, but Kira could tell she was growing increasingly anxious. She's not a lab specimen, Doctor. She's a refugee. A refugee who could revolutionize our understanding of biology, physics, and interstellar travel, Hayes countered. Do you know what her ship's remains are telling us about faster-than-light travel? The implications are staggering. Before Kira could respond, an alarm blared through the facility. Nyara's eyes snapped open, her silver gaze finding Kira immediately. The liquid in her chamber began to ripple as her glow intensified. They're here, Nyara's voice echoed through the speakers, tight with fear. You must release me. Now. Hayes was already checking his instruments. We're picking up atmospheric disturbances similar to when we found her ship. Multiple signatures, approaching fast. Kira didn't hesitate. She slammed the emergency release on Nyara's chamber, ignoring Hayes's protests. The liquid drained quickly, and Kira rushed in with a medical robe as Nyara stepped out, her legs unsteady. My sister's royal guard, Nyara explained quickly as Kira helped her dress. They'll have traced my core signature. We cannot let them access your facility, the technology here, if they acquire it. This is a military installation, Hayes interrupted. We have defenses. Nyara's laugh was bitter. Your weapons will mean nothing to them. They bend energy itself to their will. We must. She suddenly doubled over, her glow flickering dangerously. Kira caught her before she fell. She's not fully healed. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast. The facility shook as something massive passed overhead. Hayes's tablet erupted with alerts. Multiple bogies, unlike anything we've seen. They're not even trying to hide their approach. They don't need to, Nyara straightened with effort. They believe their right to claim me supersedes any planetary authority. Your people's lives mean nothing to them. Kira made a quick decision. There's a network of old Cold War bunkers connected to this facility. They're shielded and off most modern systems. Could they track you there? Nyara's eyes widened slightly. The mineral composition of your planet's crust can interfere with our sensing abilities. If we go deep enough. Another impact rocked the facility. Alarms blared as security teams rushed past the lab's windows. Somewhere above, something screeched with an otherworldly voice that made everyone's teeth ache. Doctor, Kira turned to Hayes, I need you to buy us time. Make it look like we're trying to move her to a more secure lab. But we'll be heading to bunker level D. Hayes looked between them, clearly torn between scientific curiosity and self-preservation. Finally, he nodded. I'll redirect them to the high-security wing. But Kira, if they're as advanced as she says, then humans will do what we do best, Kira said grimly, already guiding Nyara toward a maintenance access door. Survive against impossible odds. They made their way through increasingly narrow maintenance tunnels, descending deeper beneath the Earth's surface. Nyara's glow provided their only light, but it was growing fainter. The princess stumbled more frequently as they descended. Your core, Kira noticed with concern. You're getting weaker. The resonance stabilizers in the chamber were helping, Nyara admitted. Without them, this environment is harsh for my kind. But better weakness than capture. The sounds of combat echoed from above, energy weapons, human gunfire, and those terrible screeching noises. Kira tried not to think about the lives being lost because she had chosen to help one alien refugee. Tell me about your sister, Kira said as they climbed down another maintenance ladder. Why does she want you dead? Nyara was quiet for a moment, her glow pulsing slowly. Selenara believes in racial purity and manifest destiny. Our empire has stood for millennia because we believed in balance, between expansion and cooperation, between progress and preservation. But she... Nyara's voice cracked. She thinks we've grown weak. That we should use our mastery of energy to dominate rather than uplift. And you stood against her? I had proof of her atrocities. Of experiments she conducted on developing worlds, of allies she betrayed. But before I could present it to the High Council, she moved against me. Turned my own guard with promises of power and glory. Nyara laughed bitterly. Now here I am, fleeing to a primitive world, being saved by those my sister would consider beneath notice. They reached bunker level D, a Cold War relic that hadn't seen use in decades. Kira used her emergency override codes to unseal the heavy doors, revealing a space that looked frozen in time. It's not much, Kira admitted as they entered the bunker's main chamber, but it's... She was cut off by a massive explosion from above that shook loose decades of dust. Both women looked up as the ceiling trembled. They're getting closer, Nyara whispered. Even if they can't sense me directly, they'll search every inch of this facility. And they won't stop until they find me, no matter how many of your people they have to kill. Kira checked her tablet's connection to the surface. Through the facility's cameras, she could see crystalline figures moving with terrible grace through the corridors, their forms similar to Nyara's but twisted somehow, darker. Where Nyara's glow was like starlight, theirs was like the heart of a dying sun. Then we better make sure we have a plan before they find us, Kira said firmly. Because I didn't save you just to give up now. Nyara looked at her with those infinite silver eyes. Why did you save me, Kira Winters? Why risk everything for someone not of your world? Kira met her gaze steadily. Because it was the right thing to do. And because sometimes the right thing is the only thing standing between hope and darkness. Above them, the hunters drew closer, and time was running out. In the depths of Earth's oldest fortifications, a human and an alien princess prepared to make their stand, not just for survival, but for the very soul of an empire among the stars. The old bunker's emergency lighting cast strange shadows as Kira worked to restore power to the ancient computer systems. Beside her, Nyara's glow had dimmed to a faint pulse, her silvery form curled in the corner as she fought to conserve energy. Above them, the sounds of destruction had grown closer. Got it, Kira muttered as the computers hummed to life. Green text scrolled across the dusty screens, revealing schematics of the sprawling underground complex. There's a maintenance tunnel that leads to an old submarine dock. If we can reach it. They'll have ships in orbit, Nyara's voice was weak but determined. Any surface escape would be detected immediately. A violent tremor shook the bunker, sending decades-old dust cascading from the ceiling. Kira's tablet showed multiple breaches in the facility's upper levels. The Royal Guard was being thorough in their search, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. "Your sister's people," Kira asked while downloading the tunnel maps, "why do they look like corrupted versions of you?" Nyara's silver eyes clouded with pain. "The darkening. Selenara's gift to her followers. She found a way to enhance our natural energy manipulation abilities, but it comes at a terrible cost. It twists the user's core, making them more powerful but..." She shuddered. "They're no longer truly themselves." Another explosion rocked the facility. Closer this time. Kira's tablet showed thermal images of crystalline figures methodically destroying everything in their path, their forms radiating an unnatural heat. "We need to move," Kira said, helping Nyara to her feet. "That tunnel is our best shot." "Wait." Nyara pressed her glowing hand against the bunker wall. "There's something strange here. The mineral composition." Her eyes widened. "This is impossible." "What is it?" "These walls contain trace amounts of celestium, an element crucial to our technology. It's incredibly rare, found only in specific stellar conditions. Yet somehow, your ancestors built this bunker using materials that contained it." Kira frowned. Could that be why the Cold War engineers chose this location? They must have detected something unusual about the rock composition. "It's why the guard's energy sensing is being disrupted," Nyara explained. "The celestium is interfering with their abilities. But it also means..." She straightened, her glow brightening slightly. "It means I might be able to do something incredibly risky." Before Kira could ask what she meant, the bunker's main door exploded inward. Through the smoke stepped three figures that looked like dark mirrors of Nyara, their crystalline forms crackling with purple-black energy, their eyes burning like dying stars. "First daughter," the leader's voice rasped like breaking crystal. "Your defiance ends here. Submit to the darkening or be destroyed." Nyara stood tall despite her weakness. "Captain Vex. I see my sister's corruption has taken you completely." The dark crystalline being laughed, the sound like shattering glass. "Corruption? No, princess. Evolution. The power your sister has given us is beyond anything our ancestors dreamed possible. Join us. Accept the darkening. Rule alongside your sister as she leads our people to their true destiny." "You mean as she turns them into monsters like you?" Kira stepped forward, placing herself between Nyara and the guard. "Look at yourselves. You're not evolved, you're degraded." Vex turned his burning gaze to Kira. "The human pet speaks. How amusing. Your species is so young, so limited. You cannot comprehend the glory that awaits us." "Glory?" Nyara's voice rang with authority despite her weakened state. "Is that what you call the massacre of the Lemurian colonies? The destruction of the Helix Archive? My sister's glory is nothing but death and devastation." The other two guards raised their hands, dark energy crackling between their fingers. Vex's crystalline face twisted in what might have been pity. "Then you leave us no choice, princess. The darkening will take you, willing or not." What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. As the guards unleashed their energy blasts, Nyara pressed both hands against the bunker wall. Her glow suddenly intensified, and the wall itself began to shine with a blue-white light. The celestium in the rock was responding to her, creating a feedback loop of power. "Kira," Nyara's voice strained with effort, "trust me?" Without hesitation, Kira nodded. "Always." The world exploded into brilliance. The guard's dark energy met Nyara's celestium-enhanced power in a collision that bent reality itself. Kira felt herself being pulled into something impossible, a tunnel of light and crystal that should not exist in normal space. The last thing she heard was Vex's scream of rage before everything dissolved into pure energy. When her vision cleared, she found herself lying on a crystal floor in a vast chamber that definitely wasn't the bunker. Nyara lay beside her, her glow barely visible. "What, where are we?" Kira managed to ask as she struggled to her feet. Nyara's eyes flickered open, a faint smile on her luminescent face. "The one place my sister would never think to look for me. The ancient crystal archives, hidden beneath your world's surface for millennia. My people's first and forgotten outpost on Earth." As Kira helped Nyara stand, she stared in awe at the massive crystalline structures surrounding them, each one pulsing with stored information and power. This wasn't just a hiding place, she realized. This was something that would change everything, for both their worlds. "The guards?" she asked. "The Celestium reaction should have disrupted their cores temporarily. But they'll recover, and they'll find us eventually." Nyara's expression hardened with determination. "Which means we need to work quickly. There are secrets here, Kira. Truths about both our peoples that have been buried for thousands of years. And somewhere in these archives is the proof we need to stop my sister, if we can find it in time." Around them, the ancient crystal archives hummed with power and possibility, while somewhere above, dark forces regrouped for their next assault. The race to save two worlds had entered its next phase, and time was running out. The crystal archives stretched endlessly in every direction, their translucent structures casting rainbow refractions across the vast underground chamber. Kira watched in amazement as Nyara moved from crystal to crystal, her weakened glow resonating with each ancient database she touched. "I don't understand," Nyara muttered, her silver eyes reflecting the dancing lights. "These records, they're not just about my people. They're about yours too." Kira approached one of the smaller crystals, its surface rippling like liquid glass. "What do you mean?" "According to this, Earth wasn't just an outpost. It was a collaboration." Nyara's voice grew stronger with excitement. "My ancestors didn't just visit your world, they worked alongside early humans. Taught them, learned from them. The Celestium in your bunker wasn't an accident. It was deliberately placed there, part of a network of protection sites." A distant rumble reminded them they weren't safe. Even in this hidden sanctuary, time was against them. The guards would recover and find a way to track them. "Protection from what?" Kira asked, helping Nyara move to another crystal cluster. "From the very thing my sister has embraced." Nyara placed her hand on a larger crystal, and holographic images filled the air around them. "The darkening. It's not new. It's ancient. A corruption that nearly destroyed both our civilizations thousands of years ago." The holograms showed scenes of devastation, crystalline beings consumed by dark energy, ancient human cities in ruins, and a massive battle that seemed to shake the stars themselves. "Our peoples fought it together," Nyara continued, her voice filled with wonder. "The humans' inability to manipulate energy wasn't a weakness, it made them immune to the corruption. And our ancestors' technology, combined with human resilience." She trailed off as new images appeared. Kira watched as the holograms showed humans and crystalline beings working together, creating vast underground networks, building something that looked like a planetary shield. They found a way to push it back. More than that, Nyara's glow brightened with understanding. They found a way to cleanse it. But the knowledge was lost, buried here when both our civilizations chose to forget. To start over. Her expression hardened. "Until my sister somehow rediscovered the corruption, thinking it was a path to power." Another tremor shook the chamber, closer this time. Dust and crystal shards rained from the ceiling. Kira's tablet, somehow still functioning, showed multiple energy signatures converging on their location. "They're coming," Kira warned. "We need to find whatever proof you need and get out of here." Nyara moved with renewed purpose, her hands dancing across crystal surfaces. "There's something else here." Something about, there. A new hologram materialized, schematics for a device of impossible complexity. The Purifier. Created by both our peoples, powered by celestium and human bioresonance. This is what they used to cleanse the darkening. Can we rebuild it? The knowledge is here, but... Nyara's glow flickered with frustration. We'd need resources, time, and... She looked at Kira with sudden intensity. We'd need humans and crystalline beings working together again. The device requires both to function. The chamber shook more violently. Through the crystal walls, they could see dark energy beginning to seep in. The guards were getting closer. Your sister, Kira said, helping Nyara download the crucial data into a portable crystal. She doesn't know any of this, does she? That humans and your people once saved each other? No, Nyara's voice was grim. And she wouldn't care. The darkening doesn't just corrupt bodies, it corrupts minds, twists memories and desires. The sister I knew is already gone, replaced by something that only wants power. A section of the chamber wall exploded inward. Through the breach stepped Captain Vex and his guards, their dark energy crackling more intensely than before. Found you, Vex's corrupted voice echoed through the ancient chamber. The Celestium signature here is impressive, Princess. But did you really think it would hide you forever? No, Nyara stood tall, the downloaded crystal clutched to her chest. I just needed enough time to learn the truth. She looked at the corrupted guards with genuine pity. You were right about one thing, Captain. Our ancestors did find a way to transcend their limitations. But not through corruption, through cooperation. Vex laughed, the sound like breaking glass. More weakness. The humans are tools, nothing more. Raw material for our ascension. Wrong, Kira stepped forward, an idea forming. We're your salvation. Just like we were before. Before Vex could respond, Kira grabbed Nyara's hand. The moment their skin made contact, something extraordinary happened. The celestium in the chamber walls began to resonate, responding to the combination of crystalline energy and human presence. Light rippled outward in waves. Vex and his guards staggered back, their dark energy fluctuating. What are you doing? Reminding you of who you really are, Nyara's voice rang with power as her glow synchronized with the celestium resonance. The darkening can be beaten, Captain. It was beaten before, by our people standing together. The chamber filled with pure light, forcing the corrupted guards back. In that moment of confusion, Kira and Nyara ran for a secondary tunnel Kira had spotted on her tablet. Behind them, Vex's enraged roar echoed through the ancient halls. That won't hold them long, Kira panted as they ran. Long enough, Nyara clutched the downloaded crystal tighter. We have what we need now, the truth, the plans, everything. But we'll need help. The military facility. No, Nyara's silver eyes gleamed with purpose. We need to find the other sites. The other bunkers with Celestium. There's a network, remember? And if they're still active. Kira understood. We can rebuild the Purifier. Use it to save your people. To save both our peoples, Nyara corrected. Because if my sister fully embraces the darkening, Earth will be her first target. Just like before. They emerged into a natural cave system, the sound of rushing water echoing from somewhere ahead. Behind them, dark energy began to seep through the rock walls. Then we better get moving, Kira said grimly. We've got a lot of work to do, and not much time to do it. As they raced through the caves, the weight of history and destiny pressed down on them both. Two worlds hung in the balance, and their only hope lay in rekindling an alliance that time had forgotten, but that had once been powerful enough to save everything. 3 weeks of frantic preparation had led to this moment. The abandoned military bunker in Norway's mountains hummed with activity as humans and crystalline allies worked side by side, rebuilding what had been lost to time. The purifier, its structure a perfect blend of ancient technology and modern innovation, stood ready in the chamber's center. Kira watched from the control station as Nyara coordinated with the small group of her people who had answered her call, crystalline beings who had rejected Selenara's corruption and fled to Earth. Their combined glow lit the chamber like starlight. "Final diagnostics are complete," Dr. Hayes reported, his initial skepticism long replaced by determined focus. "Celestium resonance chambers are stable. Human biosignature integrators are online. Multiple bogies entering atmosphere," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from the radar station. "Energy signatures match the Royal Guard. A lot of them." Nyara joined Kira at the controls, her glow stronger than ever thanks to the celestium-enriched environment they'd created. "My sister's coming herself this time. She won't trust anyone else after our previous escapes." As if in response to her words, the mountain itself seemed to tremble. Through the bunker's external cameras, they watched as multiple crystalline ships descended from the clouds, their forms dark and twisted by the corruption they carried. "Are you sure about this?" Kira asked quietly. "Once we activate the purifier. It's the only way." Nyara's silver eyes held both determination and sadness. "The darkening has spread too far. If we don't stop it now, both our worlds will fall." The bunker's reinforced doors shuddered under the first assault. Dark energy crackled through the seams, testing their defenses. The celestium and the walls held, but for how long? "Everyone to your positions," Kira commanded. Around the chamber, humans and crystalline allies took their places at the designated resonance points. The purifier's crystals began to pulse in response to their presence. The doors exploded inward with a force that shook the mountain. Through the smoke stepped a figure that made even Nyara's allies gasp in horror. Selenara, first queen of the crystalline empire, had become something that barely resembled her original form. Her once luminescent body was a mass of sharp angles and dark energy, her eyes burning with purple-black fire. "Sister," Selenara's voice echoed with unnatural harmonics. "Still playing with primitives, I see. Look at yourself, Selenara." Nyara stepped forward. "Look at what you've become. This isn't evolution, it's devastation. I've become power itself." Selenara spread her arms, dark energy crackling between her crystalline fingers. "Something our ancestors were too weak to embrace. The humans were right to fear us, to forget us. And now they'll serve us, as they were always meant to." "Wrong," Kira's voice rang out clear. "We never feared you. We fought beside you. We saved each other." Selenara's burning gaze fixed on Kira. "The pet speaks history it cannot understand. Our ancestors were fools to treat humans as equals. You are nothing but vessels waiting to be filled with our glory." The corrupted queen raised her hands, and the chamber filled with suffocating darkness. The royal guard poured in behind her, their forms twisted reflections of their leader's corruption. But Nyara was ready. "Now," she commanded. Every human and crystalline ally pressed their hands to their designated crystals. The purifier hummed to life, its ancient machinery responding to the combined resonance of both species. Light began to push back against the darkness. "You cannot stop the evolution of our people," Selenara snarled, pushing more corruption into the chamber. "This isn't evolution," Nyara's voice carried the weight of ancient truth. "The darkening is a parasite, sister. It feeds on fear, on the desire for power. But there's something stronger, the bond between two peoples who chose to save each other." The purifier's light intensified. Where it touched the corrupted guards, their darkness began to crack, revealing the pure crystalline forms beneath. Some screamed in rage, others in relief. "Remember who you are," Nyara pleaded as the light reached her sister. "Remember who we were meant to be." Selenara fought against the purifying energy, her form writhing. "I am power. I am destiny. You are my sister," Nyara whispered. And I love you too much to let you stay lost. The light reached its peak. For a moment, the chamber existed in perfect balance, human and crystalline energy working in harmony, just as it had thousands of years ago. The darkness in Selenara's form began to splinter. Hold the resonance. Kira shouted as the purifier drew more power. Every human and crystalline being in the chamber poured their energy into the ancient device, their combined will focused on one purpose, salvation. With a sound like 1,000 crystals singing, the darkness shattered. Selenara fell to her knees, her form transforming back to pure light. Around her, the royal guard underwent the same metamorphosis, the corruption burning away to reveal their true selves. As the light faded, Nyara rushed to her sister's side. Selenara looked up, her eyes clear for the first time in years. What have I done? What matters is what we'll do now. Nyara helped her sister stand. Together. In the aftermath, as humans and crystalline beings tended to the newly purified, Kira joined the two sisters. The other corrupted ships are standing down, she reported. The purifier's energy signature is spreading through your fleet. Selenara looked at Kira with wonder untainted by darkness. We owe your people a debt that cannot be repaid. Again. Then let's do better this time, Kira suggested. Instead of forgetting, let's remember. Let's build something new. Nyara took both their hands, her sisters and her human friends. Not new, she corrected. Something renewed. A bridge between stars and worlds, just as it was always meant to be. Above the mountain, the aurora borealis danced with impossible colors, as if celebrating the reunion of two peoples who had found each other again across the gulf of time. The darkness had been beaten back once more, not through power or dominance, but through the strength that comes from standing together. And in that moment, watched by stars that had seen it all before, humanity and the crystalline empire took their first steps toward a future that would outshine the brightest dreams of their shared past.